Okay, I've got the mix for the yellow background part. I've got 2 parts of yellow deep and 1 part of warm white. So we're going to mix that. Kind of a mustardy color. So let's put that on the back of our plaque real quick. And this will be the bottom of your box. I'm just using a plaque. This would be the bottom of your box if you have a box. So let's just put this on real quick. And we'll put that second coat on now that it's been sealed, and that should give us an opaque back. Now, here we have the front with our background color on it, and I have the table line traced on. Now we're going to do, hope this doesn't glare too badly. Now we're going to do this portion of the table, and we're going to lay in our values. You have a color map with your lesson. Okay, it does. It says the light is striking the table first, so we'll start with the light area in front. We'll work towards the dark area in the back. We're going to blend each value before proceeding to the next value. If the very dark value 2 is not dark enough, we can add more carbon black. And this might take a few layers. And we can heat set it and then redampen it with extender and repaint it if necessary. Okay, so let's start with our light. Now I did not trace on my lines. If you want to do that, you can, but I have painted in oils with the pat blending method for quite some time, so I prefer, and I think it's a more natural way, not to transfer my lines, but to just kind of know my general area, and that's the way I'm going to show you. So we're going to start with the light. We're going to go back to our palette, and remember we made all of the values. So we're going to start with the light, and I'm just going to start putting it. It says to use a 3/4 inch or a 1 inch brush. I'm using this 1/2 inch angular because I'm pretty comfortable with it, and I'm just going to put this in. This is the light value, and let's see, I'm going to need to turn on my map so that I know which way I need to angle. Okay, so we're going to take that about like this. Like this way. Okay, and that's our light value. And then I'm going to pick up some medium on my brush, and I'm just going to put it in right next to this. And notice in our map that the medium comes all the way to the back here in the center. So I'm just going to slap this over, right over the edge of where I had put it before, where I put the light, kind of blending into that. And notice I did it quickly before it got dry. Okay, now I'm going to wipe off my brush, and I'm going to come back in here, and I'm going to make an X, and I'm going to crisscross, and I'm going to blend these two values together. I'm wiping my brush pretty frequently to get the excess paint out of it. Now I'm using a light touch, and I'm going to pull back on the handle of my brush and just use a light touch. We are going to repaint this because our yellow is rather transparent, our light value is rather transparent. So I believe that it will benefit from doing this twice. Now the other thing that you can do is to use a mop to soften this transition. Now I'm almost dry, so it's not going to move it as much as it could, but you can see that it does soften it. Okay. So now let's move to our dark value, and I'm going to put it right up against my medium value. Right there. And I'm going to leave a space in the corners for the very dark value. And let's see, let's wipe the brush. Let's crisscross. Now if you find that your medium has dried, just go back in there and pick up some medium on your brush. Come back over it. Wipe your brush and start crisscrossing in between those two values. When you've got them fairly well blended, you can come along with your mop and finish that job. Okay, and we'll come around to this side. I'm going to pick up some medium and put it right there on my edge so that I have something wet to blend into. Wipe my brush. I'm not cleaning my brush, I'm just wiping the excess paint off of it, and we'll do the same thing. We'll come here in the corners with the dark, leaving room for the very dark. Come across here, wipe my brush, and come back and make my X's and crisscrosses and blend these two colors together. Once I've done that, I'm going to soften that transition with the mop. Okay, let's leave it here. The next is the very dark color, and I'm going to put it right up in here all the way to the top of the table and blend it here. Wipe and crisscross and mop. Okay, I think I need some mopping here. Let's come down, go to the very dark, put that on, going all the way up in the corner. Now on this side my my dark color has dried, so I'm going to pick up a little bit from my palette and put some right there at the transition line and give myself something to blend into. You can do this with a flat, you can do it with a filbert. Today I chose to do it with an angle. Okay, so there you have a roughing in of the values on the table. I'm going to let that dry, and